Welcome to DTL Golf, your home every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. This is the place to be. Part of the Driving the Line universe here, and we have everything for you in the world of golf this week. We've got the Olympics on tap this week from Le Golf National in Paris, France. I know you've seen all the Olympic coverage so far. We've got a great golf tournament coming up, and we've got some great knowledge with some great picks. But where is the coach? Where's the coach again this week? Well, you know what? He had a big day today, big day. And with any of you with children out there know that when your children turn 16, if you live in the right state, they got a right chance to get their driver's license. So he is with his daughter at the DMV. You know how long the DMV takes. So anyway, the coach will be back with us very soon. But, you know, one of those things this week, we're putting the PGA Tour aside this week. And we are going in. We've got 3 medals up for grabs. That's it. 4th place kind of doesn't matter this week. So think about that as you go through your picks this week. And also as we go through our picks, we are going to bring in the stars of the show because they have all the knowledge that you want to gather for this week's event. Now, we got RD, Robert Damron right there, right in the middle. He's fresh little dew right there, RD. What's going on?
It's like the lady from Ghostbusters at the end of Ghostbusters, you know, and she comes out with the 2 big dogs beside her. That's kind of what I'm going for right there. I think I almost got it.
Oh, right. Man, love it.
All right, and Fast Eddie Fernandes, you know, you've got. Are you still off of cloud 9 from the World Championships there? I mean, you're still bombing it. You took a little trip to Chicago. How you doing?
Yeah, teaching my ways, you know, as a Jedi master, I guess you want to call it. But no, I had spent 4 days in Chicago, 3 days I was coaching up there, a little speed, efficiency, saw some family. So it was a nice weekend. Good to get back, though, sleep in my own bed and talk some golf. I love the Olympics. I think it's cool, little limited field, and we've got a lot to talk about. Loving you made a post the other day, which I really loved. Hopefully we get to dive into that a little bit too.
We are going to dive into that because that was a hot topic, at least in my little world there of social media there on the X and Instagram. And it really has everything to do about the format this week. 72-hole stroke play for the Olympic title, all these gold and bronze and silver medals these players are going to be playing for. But one of those things that these players are looking at is they're looking at the same format that is played every week on the PGA Tour, 72 holes of stroke play. It's pretty boring in my book, and there's so much match play golf being played right now in the world of golf. We just had the U.S. Junior Amateur that was shown that's played at beautiful Oakland Hills. I'm going to be heading to the Western Amateur this week at Moraine Country Club in Dayton, Ohio. And then the U.S. Amateurs at Hazeltine up in Minnesota the week after. So much match play. RD, I'll start with you. Should the Olympic Games maybe go to a match play situation and not be 72 holes of stroke play?
I actually love the idea. I think there are other sports like tennis where it's kind of that round robin, and you whittle it down until you get to the end. Now, the reason that the PGA Tour has always been hesitant to have match play tournaments, yes, we used to have the one in Austin and way back when in Arizona, but the reason is because for ratings on Sunday in their prime time, they don't want just 2 guys, maybe 4 if you're playing a consolation match. They want a lot of action going on. So on TV for the PGA Tour, I can see the hesitation. Maybe it doesn't translate into big ratings on Sunday, but the Olympics has 1,000 sports going on at once. So if you only follow 2 people, well, 3 people, you'd have to have a bronze medal match going also. So 4 people. If you only have those, but you're cutting over to diving and track and field and all that in between, I think it's a no lose situation and a great way to whittle it down and get earn that gold medal, be the cream of the crop. It gives the little guy a chance to beat Scotty Scheffler in round 1 and move forward. And there's so much drama that can happen even on day 1 of match play. I would love it myself. I thought your post was A1 spot on.
No, well, thank you. But you know what, Fast Eddie, I think that one thing that we see with match play, and some of the comments were, well, match play is not quite as exciting because you're not guaranteed to have the stars be at the end. Now, one of those things that we see in the NCAA match play bracket, for example, in the men's and the women's game, we don't really know any of those players. We watch that collegiate game, we watch that on the Golf Channel. But does the player really matter in when it's a match play situation? You come down to the end, you just want to see kind of a bare knuckles fight match. You don't care who it is, do you?
100%. No, I agree. I love that post that you made the other day, and I'm on the same page as you guys. You've played a lot of match play. I played in U.S. Junior, U.S. Am, Western Am, and even some college tournaments. I played in one in Mexico that was 36 holes qualifying, and then match play. I absolutely love it. I think 36 holes of stroke play, top 16, 1 versus 16, 2, 15, and you whittle it down to the to whoever wins. And I think that bronze medal match would be huge, regardless of who it is. What if you got Matthew Pavone going against Scotty Scheffler in the gold medal match? I mean, that's going to be massive. So I love that aspect. I think the Olympics should be a little bit different. 72-hole stroke play. Okay. Yeah. Just another event. But, especially with a limited field, you don't have to have I agree with you 100%. I wish it was stroke play and then finish it off with match.
I mean, didn't those people watch Rudy or Rocky? The underdog's got to be up there, and it's huge when they do it at the right time.
Got to be. Oh, man, it'd be huge.
You see Scotty all the time, and he's probably going to win anyway, but let's give it a swing.
Yeah, he probably will. And I want to get everybody in the chat involved right now. And I want you just to throw in the chat, what you think about match play or stroke play. Put it in the chat what you would prefer, match play or stroke play. And even throw in your favorite Olympic sport while you're at it. We just want to get you all involved out there in our universe. We love you guys. I think that's the coolest thing about this platform is we get to connect with you in real time. So please, pop your questions and your comments in right now. The second question I have, though, really, should pros be available or be in the Olympics? Maybe we see it in the basketball competitions. We see all the pros, LeBron and whatnot. Should the pros be involved in this, or should amateurs be involved only in Olympic Games?
I would say, if it were me in a perfect world, amateurs. But it's also a world driven by money and TV. And so that's the way it is. I mean, basketball could survive because there's enough college basketball players where they could make their own, dream team of amateurs in that sense, and maybe a couple other sports. But a sport like tennis or golf, which it would be exciting and would be cool to watch and would be unbelievable opportunities for those amateurs, it's just not going to put the eyeballs on it. So, traditionally it was all amateur athletes was the Olympics, but it's just not traditional times, and it is the way it is. And if I'm not mistaken, Steve, there are still sports where you have to be amateur. Is that correct? Or is it all you can be whichever across the board?
It's a great question. We know golf here. I know a couple other sports.
Yeah.
We see it in tennis. We saw, Nadal and Djokovic played each other the other day. I guess there's probably some events maybe like breaking or something. It's like break dancing. I don't know. Are there pro breaking dancers out there? I don't know. It's a very good question. Fast Eddie, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I would love to see more amateurs, but like Robert said, it's all driven by money. So, I got to know Mike Eruzione pretty well over the last few years in Ireland. And we talked about the Olympic Games. He basically retired right after the 1980 Olympic hockey when they won the gold medal against Finland. So he what if amateurs weren't allowed back then, if they were professionals, he would have never had that moment. Like that, in my opinion, that is the greatest moment in American sports history. When they beat Russia in the semifinals and then they went on to beat Finland for the gold medal. I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it. And I would love to see more amateurs. I know it's a money-driven, the sports are money-driven now. So, yes, you like to see the professionals, but you also would love to see that Cinderella story of these guys and just have them feel that moment. So that's just my take on it.
Okay. All right. So we're in congruence here. It's probably just all about the money and professional game. We'll watch and admire Scotty Scheffler for another week, probably taking home the gold medal. We'll see. It'd be pretty awesome to combine all that with the green jacket, the plaid jacket from the RBC Heritage, the Players title, everything that he won this year. So we'll see. Maybe we'll have to put another shelf up in his house like he has been building lately that we've heard. But you know what? It is all about money. It's all about money right here on DTL Golf too. And we are going to get some tickets cash for you right now. And we're going to start with the first round leader category, because this is one where those players can jump right off the box and see what they can do right off the bat. We've got some players. We're going to start with you, RD. And one of your guys, the Canadian pick, has been playing pretty good golf lately. Hasn't missed a cut in over a year. Explain your picks.
Well, that's a big part of why I looked at Corey Connors, is just the form. He has been playing fantastic, and he's been playing fantastic under a specific type of pressure, and that's that President's Cup, playing his way onto it. I don't know if he sits inside the top 6, but he's played well enough. He will get a pick, so he can kind of relax in that sense. But he's also 9th in first-round scoring on the PGA Tour. So I thought in a short field like this, the Olympics, you get out fast and have a good time and play loose. That could happen for a guy that's playing well, tends to play well in the first round. Now, I also love putters. I love putters in the first round. One of the best putters on the PGA Tour, Thomas Dietrich. He's there, he's playing for his country, and at plus 3,500, I think that he is a great, great pick. I've actually might have him a little bit further down the line here as we keep talking about some of our bets, but he also is 15th in first round scoring on the tour, playing very nicely. He's played nicely in some big boy tournaments here lately too. So I've been watching him most of the year. Solid player. So yep, Dietrich and Connors, got a little sprinkle for first round leader.
All right. Well, you talk consistency, you talk great putting, and that's what you get when you get my pick right here. Alex Noren plus 2,800. That's really the guy. He's 17 out of the last 20 events. He is positive in the strokes gained category, playing very consistently. Last 2 weeks, tied for 10th, tied for 13th, 4th in round 1 scoring average. He gets out of the blocks better than just about anybody. And, oh, by the way, he has already won here at Le Golf National, and he won the Ryder Cup with the European team in 2018. So he's got some really good vibes around here. That's why I am going with Alex Noren. Now, Eddie, Fast Eddie, you've got a guy who won on the Live Tour last week, and he beat Tiger right here in 2018 in Ryder Cup singles. Talk about your picks.
You think he's got some good vibes going into this week? I think he does. I think Rahm is, like you said, recently won last 4 starts, 3rd, 10th, and 7th. Finished 7th at the Open. He's finished 10th and 5th, as well as beating Mr. Woods in 2018 at the Ryder Cup. His strokes gained is almost +2 per round, and he's not even putting that well. So if he has a good putting week this week, I mean, it could be, it could be sayonara. Spaniard could be putting a gold medal around his neck. So he's been trending up. He's been playing well. I really like him, first round leaders, and might talk about him a little bit later as well. And then Thorbjorn Olesen, plus 4,500, a name we don't really hear that much, but he's rock solid. And if you look at the winners on this golf course over the previous years, they're not bombers. I mean, Olesen is super solid. He's a really good putter. And I look for him to play. I just have a hunch that he's going to play really well this week. He's finished 3rd, 20th, and 10th the last 5 years at this golf course. So he's played well here. And whenever you go to a golf course where you've had some success, I think it breeds a little bit more confidence than not. So I like those 2 picks come out of the blocks quick.
Yeah, I like those picks too, Eddie. I really think that you got some good stuff there, and a guy who has played very well on this venue. Now, we're going to go to our head-to-head, and Fast Eddie, I'm just going to jump right back to you because you have the same guy over a guy who stumbled a little bit at the U.S. Open, and you've got the Italian stallion over the French contingent here. Shed some light on all those picks, these head-to-head matchups, this bread and butter picks for all of our universe here.
Everything I just said about Mr. Rahm, double that And then hot player versus a guy that's been reeling since the U.S. Open. Rory is not in very good form. I think he's got a little bit of a hangover. Might hang for a little bit. I don't think I'm going to be proven wrong this week, but I love Rahm all day long. And I got him as an underdog on BetMGM at plus 110 over Rory. And then Guido, look, I'm half Italian, so I figured I'd go for an Italian Frenchman this week, minus 115. He won on this golf course in 2022, also recently won on the DP World Tour. So I love players who have had success on a golf course in the past and have also won during the previous few months. I like Guido over Perez in this matchup. I just think he's playing better now, and especially with his success on this golf course.
All right, so you don't think the local contingent's going to kind of pull him through? Very.
The other one, the other Frenchman I may talk about in a little bit.
Okay, all right. Not all Frenchmen are the same. Okay, all right. We'll go with that right there. I'm just going to talk about one of my picks right now, and it's the Shane Lowry over Tom Kim, minus 120 for Shane Lowry. One thing you really have to realize, it's not a story that's been told a lot recently, so we're going to educate and entertain you right here because this, or more educate. So this is all about what Tom Kim is facing potentially. He has got a really big mountain to climb. He really needs a medal. I don't think it matters whether he wins gold, silver, or bronze, but we're talking about his military service that all people from Korea, and the rules state all able-bodied males are obligated to serve between 18 and 21 months in the military when they turn 19. They can postpone it if they want, but an Olympic medal would help bypass that. Last year, at the end of last year, you had Sung Jae-im and Si-woo Kim won a gold medal in the Asian Games, which helped them bypass this mandatory military service. But you look on the other side, a couple of years ago, you had Sung Yul-no and Sang-moon Bae, and they've both won on the PGA Tour in their life. They had to go to that military service and represent their country and defend their country. They have not come back the same golfers. We have not seen them as consistent performers on the PGA Tour since. Tom Kim, this man has won quite a bit already in his young life, but would this change the trajectory of his professional career? This is a big, big week for him. And that's why I like Shane Lowry this week. I think it's just too big of a mountain for Tom Kim to climb this week. There's just so much pressure on him. My heart says I would love him to medal, but my wallet says that Shane Lowry is going to get it done this week. RD, what are your picks right now? You've got two favorites and an underdog who hasn't really showed a lot of games since the U.S. Open. Talk about your picks this week.
No, not a lot. And first off, I also picked Rahm over Rory, and Eddie pointed out he's BetMGM. I saw it on DraftKings where I got mine. So shop around, educate and entertain. We accidentally educated you right there by taking the same bet but getting two different odds on that. I do like Rahm over Rory, who I think's in a bit of a mental tailspin. Now, the guy you're talking about that just hasn't been playing that well, Wyndham Clark. He's still a big-time player. I mean, really and truly. He is not a kind of flash in the pan. He's been playing not as great, okay, but he's still, like I said, big-time. Nothing against Sepp Straka, but he's got no top 20s in his last 5 events. He's not playing as well. Wyndham, golf is cyclical. Let's catch him on the upswing. I think that's just a good bet over Sepp Straka. And then the one I really liked, the one I really feel good about is Ben On over Adrian Meronk. Now, it's hard to even find. I couldn't find it on the app. I had to just Google search it. The Live app doesn't even show their recent finishes and how they've been finishing in the tournaments. But Meronk has had 32nd, 42nd, 16th his last 3, not played up to his talent. We know his talent is very, very big. So I've got Ben On as a slight underdog. He's been playing solid all year. A little slip lately. Tied for 13th at the Open. That's nice. But both his parents were Olympians. This means a lot to Ben On. He grew up watching Olympics, knowing about Olympics, seeing Olympics, hearing it from his parents. That's where they met, as a matter of fact. So he comes in there, I think, freewheeling and loving and embracing this moment. and a shot to be, well, he is an Olympian, but a shot to be a medalist.
That would be very cool. What a story like that. I love that nugget right there with the family involved in the Olympics. And yeah, could he be one of those as well? Could he grab a piece of gold, silver, bronze? We will see on that. Just hopping in the chat real quick. Xavier J said stroke play is better. He likes the stroke play. Good chance you'll get your playoff for at least one of the top 3 spots. Yes, it very could well happen. We did see that in Tokyo. We had a 7-for-1 playoff for the bronze. So, Xavier, thanks so much for jumping in on and sharing your thoughts here. Yeah, go ahead.
But match play, you're guaranteed an 18-hole playoff for bronze.
Yeah, you are.
You're getting your
you
playoff.
are. That's a great point as well. That's why it's such a volatile topic, right? So many people, there's so many contrasting sides to it. Who knows? I did hear some information on the channel today that maybe they're thinking about when they bring the Olympics in 2028 to LA, when they play at Riviera, that they might have some sort of mixed competition or some sort of different competition than what we're seeing right now. I personally hope so. I think they have to mix this up, and I think the golf world is pretty unanimous. They need to mix this thing up a little bit. So we will see how that all plays itself out. All right, finishing positions, top 20s, top 10s. Mind you, there are only 60 players playing this week, so you have to watch. There's not going to be top 40s. Don't worry about that. Top 20s, top 10s, top 5s. You're going to kind of pinch it a little bit towards the top of the board. And you have to think about these players and how they're going to play and how aggressively they're going to play this week, because those 3 spots really are everything. I was watching the channel earlier, and they talked about John Wood, the caddy for Matt Kuchar, back when he won the bronze medal in Rio. They talked about him being just very aggressive the final day. He shot 63. So the style of play that these players are going to have, I think, is going to really show itself. Fast Eddie, jump on your picks right now, and you're fading all the Americans this week and really leading pretty heavy into a Dane this week. Explain yourself.
Yeah, I really like Olesen this week. I mentioned him as a first-round leader. He's played really well on this golf course, winner on the DP World, and I just have a feeling about him this week. I really feel like he's going to play well. For some reason, sometimes I just get that feeling. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But I just like Olesen at plus 500 top 10, plus 150 for a top 20 finish. CT Pan, again, 60 players in the field. He's a really, really good player. He almost won a few weeks ago. Shot 24 under at the John Deere, I believe. And I think it's going to set up nicely for him. He doesn't bomb it, but he's a very, very good ball striker. I think the odds are in his favor, plus 200 for a top 20. I thought those were good odds for him. Dietrich, going to be a star at some point. He's young. He bombs it, plus 330, top 10. I think he's going to have a good week as well. And he's putting very well. And that's what I love. And he's an all-around very, very good player. And, playing for your country, I never got to play for my country in a Walker Cup or obviously Ryder Cup, but I did play for the Connecticut State junior team. We played a team from England, and there was so much pride amongst all of us players. And they had beat the Connecticut junior team the previous 2 times, and we beat them the year I played when I was 16 years old. And we never played them after that. But there's something about playing for your state, your country. It just kind of elevates your awareness or just your level of play. Like you got that grit and you really want to get it done. I think Dietrich has that. I like him this week. Alex Noren as well. I mean, what can we say? He's due. He's such a good player. Scottish Open 10th and the Open 13th, past winner here as well as 10th and 18th. So I like those picks. I think those guys are going to play pretty well this week.
I love the Alex Noren pick too. I think one thing you have to understand about this golf course, for everybody listening, wherever you're listening, all back in our universe, you have to figure out that this golf course is a golf course that players are going to play from similar spots. This is not a Bombers type of golf course. Okay, this is not a Fast Eddie Fernandes type of golf course. This is a course where these players, they kind of all have to lay up to certain areas because fairways pinch in at 310, 320. I don't think the Rory McIlroy types are really going to have that much of an advantage this week. And that's really why I picked my top 10 guy, Corey Connors at plus 190. His consistency, his iron play. He's one of the top 5 iron players on the PGA Tour. His greens and regulation stat, his strokes gained approach stat, always in the top echelon. You don't have to worry about Corey Connors not striking his irons very well. 27 straight cuts, and we kind of alluded to it earlier, but he is 8th right now on the President's Cup list. Top 6 automatically qualify. Now, we know this is not a typical PGA Tour event, but, there are official world golf ranking points available this week for high finishes. So Corey Connors, yes, he still has something to play for. He wants to be on Mike Weir's President's Cup team at Royal Montreal come September, and he is this close. I think he'll get picked where he's at, but he wants to lock this thing in. And I think this would be a big week for him. So a top 10 for Corey Connors, I think, is very solid. I think he could do even better than that. But and let's go with you, RD. Jump on your picks. You're kind of staying local here, and you're hoping this home crowd can kind of bring your home crowd man to the podium this week, huh?
Yeah, Victor Perez. He's actually been around a while. If you watched DP World Tour and kind of more of a golf nerd, the way we all are, but Victor's a good, solid player. He's been playing pretty well as of recently. 3rd at RBC, 12th at Memorial, 10th at Scottish. But there is a pride there, and meaning they have selected him to hit the very first tee shot of this year's Olympic golf competition. So, you absolutely have to think that's going to mean something to him. And if he can get past the first hole or 2 jitters, maybe 3, and get into the swing of things, I think he could play very well. It would be a great story. Just a top 10. That's not a medal, but it's good, solid playing. And then also, I took him in the top 5 also because of the odds. I think that plus 1,200 are great odds. I took Thomas Dietrich at plus 700 at top 5 because of the reasons that Eddie said. I think he's just a world-class player. He passes the eye test. But I didn't put him in the top 10 pick because the odds weren't right. I think it was plus 200 or plus 220. And that didn't seem quite strong enough for me to want to suggest a top 20. I'm going to stick it out a little bit on that top 5 and go for a little longer odds on Dietrich.
All right. I like that. a lot. We'll see how these guys can navigate their way around this Le Golf National. I kind of like the European guys a little bit more. They always have the French. They've always had the French Open here. A lot of these guys that you listed have a lot of experience on this golf course. I think that will play itself out. Talking about experience, and we educate and entertain you here on DTL Golf, and you've seen this great QR code in the bottom of your screen, and we've got to pay these little pesky bills around here, but you're going to find that Reagan the movie is going to be one of those things that's going to really help you get entertained come August 30th when it premieres.
Welcome to your life.
You can run from a bully for so long,
There's no
but after a while, you're going to have to stand up to him.
What did the president know, and when did he know it?
I am about to start the biggest war of this century.
You told me you wanted to make a difference in this world.
What would you have me do?
I want you to fight!
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Wants to rule the world.
Man, that preview gives me the chills. So good. I am putting it on my calendar. I don't know about you guys, but August the 30th, Reagan the movie. Tune into that. All right, let's jump into our winners category right now. This is one where, you might want to just throw in a little bit of a sprinkle here and there, kind of here in the long shots. This isn't where you're going to throw all of your money and during the week. But Robert Damron, you're picking a guy with a really low number this week. This isn't really a number that you want to go for, but with 60 guys in the field, maybe this is going to be a great pick.
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why the numbers was so low. But this is one of the players I was so happy. Well, first off, he's been trending the right direction. When he started with LIV, his game was flat. And it made me question to myself, is it flat because golf is cyclical. Maybe he's just not playing well. Or is it flat because he just got a $300 million check and, wants to sit on the beach for a while? Well, I think after this week, I've got my answer. When he won this last event, his first live event, he actually got emotional. Which means to me, that tournament, that win, the game of golf still means so much to him. And he is out there grinding his hardest. So, yeah, I think the odds, not the best, but I like him to win the tournament. He's playing great. He's playing on the upswing, and he, is 100% proven to me that he wants to still be the best player in the world.
Well, maybe the confidence that he got by beating one Tiger Woods here back in the 2018 Ryder Cup could also help propel him and all those good vibes he had from that moment. Now, Fast Eddie, you are also picking Rahm, but you're going against my Tom Kim grain that I mentioned a little bit earlier. I'd love to hear this explanation.
Yeah, that everything that RD said about Jon Rahm is exactly what I felt. Short field, he's playing great. Finished 7th at the Open, won last week and Live. So he's playing extremely well. When he's playing well, he's arguably the best player in the world, top 3. Now that's why you get paid the big bucks, Steve. I mean, I did not know that about the military with Tom Kim. If I had known that, I probably wouldn't have picked him this week. But anyways, look, he's a world-class player. He finished 6th here in 2023. Had some nice finishes lately in a tough draw at the Open. But he's a rising star. But, like you said, I don't really think he wants to go to the military for 18 months or so. So a medal probably would exempt him from going. So there's probably a little bit more pressure on him this week. But if anyone likes the spotlight, it's this kid. I mean, he's a stud. And if anyone can handle it, it's him. So I like him. And Jon Rahm, I really think Rahm is going to play well. I think he's going to medal, whether it be a gold, silver, or bronze. But I think he's going to be in the mix on the last day, Sunday.
Well, he really did rise to the occasion in that International President's Cup, where he was kind of the international darling, hold some amazingly important putts in a very key competition there against the Americans. I think, maybe things would work out for Tom Kim. Again, my heart calls out for him. I really hope he gets it done, and we will really hope and pray, for everybody who's tailing your picks as well, that he does as well. All right, last category, the long shot category. One of those categories where it's just, you're just kind of reaching for something. You're trying to find any sort of, connection to this golf course, connection to the game. Fast Eddie, among others, you got a local man who jumped on the PGA Tour radar this week. Why do you like this guy and your other players here in the long shot category?
So I'm going to talk about Camilo, right? This guy's plus 100,000. He just won on the PGA Tour last fall. So for him to be plus 100,000 with a short field, he's still a very, very good. He hasn't been playing well lately, but maybe playing for his country and something, maybe he'll get a spark and play well this week. And maybe look at the odds for a top 10, top 20, and it could be, plus 1,200 or something. Throw a few bucks on him for that. Matthew Pavone, plus 7,000, hometown guy. He's already proved his mettle. How tough he is. He won at a very difficult golf course earlier this year at the Farmers. Who knows that sometimes that home energy can really spark a guy to play well. And look, he's played great this year. And then Adrian Meronk, I think, he went to Live. I think he went to Live as a byproduct of not being picked for the Ryder Cup. I think he feels like he got snubbed. But, if he had made it on points, that's one thing. If you don't get picked, you can't really say, well, I got screwed, because, well, you didn't get screwed. You didn't make the team on your play, and you would have had to get picked. But so I think he has a little chip on his shoulder. I think he wants to prove that he is a world-class player, and he's had a bunch of top 10 since October, 11th on this golf course in 2022. So I think and a win at the Andalusia Masters as well. So he's really good. So I think he's going to play pretty well this week.
Yeah, you never know. This could be a good long shot week. The way these players, again, the way they have to play aggressively. Fourth place kind of doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot other than a few world ranking points. You're off the podium when you're fourth or worse. For me, CT Pan is a guy who was on the podium, plus 6,000 for a long shot category. This guy really had a big fight there. He was a 7-for-1 playoff that he nabbed that bronze medal right at the very end. And who knows, we could have another fight for a few medals coming down for a playoff. But I love a guy who's battle-tested like CT Pan. Not the longest hitter in the game by any means, but I don't think you have to be that player on this golf course. Very important when you pick your picks this week. This golf course, again, the long bombers just aren't going to be necessarily the favorites here. A lot of players are going to have to play their tee shots and their approach shots from the same spots on this golf course, the way things get pinched in. So CT Pan is my long shot. Now, RD, I love the double S initials here, Steve Scott, and you got a double S guy right here. What is it about the insight you have about him on why he could be a long shot?
Well, it's also Sam Saunders' birthday, so happy birthday.
Happy
birthday. Double S. Shubhankar Sharma, he's kind of like Matteo Manacero, where he was a can't-miss stud, young, kind of went flat for a while, but has been on the comeback trail. He does have a couple wins on the DP World Tour, and at plus 20,000, those odds, kind of like with Camilo, those odds just seem so high with the way he's playing. And, you know, he finished 19th at the Open in the two tournaments before that, 39th, but 5th also. So if you're going to look at a long shot, you want somebody that's, you know, you think you're going to get some value out of, that's also capable of winning the golf tournament. So I like that bet. And anytime I can get a superstar at a long shot odds at over plus 5,000 and over, Wyndham Clark at plus 5,500, catch this guy. It's like buying a stock when it's on its upswing. He's going to be on his upswing going into the playoffs. He's been flat for a little while. It just doesn't matter. He's too good to be held down for that long. He's been showing spurts of playing well lately and getting it back together. So Olympics is a very good spot for him to get his game ready before the playoffs start. Because, again, we know how good he can be. We know he can win with his driver. And we know after watching Pebble Beach this year, he can win with his putter.
Yes, he can. Well, yes, that would be a very good potential to do that with the putter right there. All right, final thoughts for you guys. Fast Eddie, 15, 20 seconds on what you think, what you're looking forward to this week, watching either the golf or any Olympic sport for that matter in this real special time of the year.
I'm predicting a playoff for the gold medal. I think there's going to be a playoff this year. I think it's going to be a big name. I think Alexander, Scotty, Colin. It's a great golf course for Colin. I mean, he drives it great. He's such a good iron player. I think it's, point A to point B. I think he's going to be right there in the mix. I think an American is going to play well, but you got Rahm and you got some really good players playing really well. So it's going to be, but I have a feeling there might be a playoff for a gold medal, at least one of the medals. So I'm looking forward to it.
Wouldn't that be very interesting and drama filled there? RD, your final thoughts.
But Olympics, golf in the Olympics is something I was a little skeptical because growing up, the age that we are, we didn't even consider. We didn't put golf and Olympics together. So the first one in Rio, I wasn't too into. I find myself excited, this being the third iteration of golf in the modern Olympics. I find myself excited to watch and see what happens day after tomorrow. So do we get the Scheffler and Xander playoff again, or do we get a kind of a big underdog from another country? Does Tom Kim get to skip military service? Fingers crossed. So a lot of drama on the line out there in Paris.
Definitely some drama-filled golf coming up. And following this week, for sure, we got one more event, the Wyndham Championship, and then we got the FedEx Cup playoffs. And we've got some really good stuff going on here. All right. Well, thank you, guys. That's about all the knowledge we're going to give you today. I appreciate everybody out there in our DTL Golf universe, in the chat, on demand. Remember to like and subscribe all of our channels right here. We love all of you out there in the universe. But what we want you to do is we want you to take those shoes off the shelf. And what you're going to do this week, after you cash all these tickets, you're going to march out that door and you're going to head down the street and you're going to see all your friends marching with you because you know where you're going. You know where you're marching. You're heading right to that pay window. Thank you, everybody out there in DT Golf Land. We will see you next week for the Wyndham Championship.